Welcome to another week of Turn Up Beardown. This week is week 15, and the Bears take on the Minnesota Vikings, one of our rivals. We're joined again by Matt Jansen. What's going on?
Hey, excited to be back. Bears gave me a little juice after last week, even though we played a really good half of football, not a good game. Defense played a good game. We played a good half, and excited to get your typical dad Christmas gifts.
There you go.
Some PJ pants. Maybe some Nike gear, and everyone's favorite. Get a little penny loafers. Get some penny loafers.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe hot.
I'm not to that level yet. I don't really look to be for a couple of years, but I'm sure when the time arises, I will get some of those amazing gifts. But hey, we have a legit chance, okay? Especially if we can win this game this week. And we know all the Bears fans out there watching and just sports fans in general, but if we win this game, we have a good shot to make the playoffs. And something that felt like it had really gone after that Lions debacle, and I'm still going to hold on to that, especially if, let's say, we tie with the Cardinals, or we're like barely missed the playoffs, and we're like, wow, we should have won that game against the Lions. But dare I say it, what are your thoughts on the playoffs?
I mean, have you taken your meds today?
I have.
Have you taken your medication?
Yeah,
because
I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's the Bears we're dangling. We have it statistically. we have a chance, but I think it was over the moment we lost to Minnesota the first time we were talking about it. I think that's just an uphill battle, and too much stuff has to happen in our favor. And let's be honest, we're Bears fans. That stuff doesn't happen a lot. So
yeah, but let me break it down for the audience. So if we win this game, we're at 7-7. We would play the Jags next week, and they're atrocious. I think they're 1-12, or yeah, that should be right, 1-12. That should be a win. Glennon actually got benched because they found out he's not any good either. So Minshew's playing again. And then we would play the Packers. And if the Chiefs take care of business to beat the Saints this week, that drops the Saints to 10-4. Yeah, that should be right. 10-4, and the Packers will probably win because they play the Panthers. Actually, they play tomorrow. Saturday special. They play tomorrow. So they'll probably be 11-4. Or they'll be 11-3. The Saints will be 10-4. Packers also beat the Saints head-to-head. So then the Packers win their next game, which I think they play the Titans in Week 16 because they play us in Week 17. So hopefully they have that one seed all locked up by the time we play them in the last week of the season, and then we can just play the Packers JV team. So
yeah, you make a good point there. I mean, I think also, just speaking about Glennon, because, I think because it's not Thanksgiving anymore and his turkey neck doesn't really play, I think that's part of the reason they benched him too. Thanksgiving's over, moving on to Christmas.
Yeah.
All rights pending for Long Neck, that YouTube sensation. But the other part is, I don't want to play the Packers JV team. I know that gives a better chance to win, but just as a Bears fan, don't you want to just earn one against them and just beat them straight up, just rough Rodgers up? Hurt that labia again, and literally go in with some confidence that we beat them head to head. Because I just feel like if they start, was it Nick Boyle or somebody, or even if they bring Jordan Love out of the catacombs, maybe I just don't think that would do us any good other than giving us a chance. Now, again, we're talking about hypotheticals here because I don't see them. Maybe they'll play a half, worst case, right? There's no way they're just going to straight up bench. I mean, I wouldn't foresee that happening. My memory serves me correctly. It didn't. We had a similar instance in, what was it, in 2010, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe our starters played in the first half
today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought we might have played the whole game. I know we lost 10-3 in that game, which that would have been like January 2nd of 2011. I remember I didn't actually get to see the whole game. I was working at 54th Street, but yeah, I know my mind is amazing. I can pull from 10 years old, and this year's game will be on January 3rd of 2021. So
You're Britannica, and those waffle fries are great there. Fry me to the moon at 54th Street.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have it anymore. We should see if we can get a sponsorship for all our hungry viewers out there. So, hey, let's get into some. We already kind of did because we just love to talk about Bears history. So you got a trivia question for me today. What are we looking
I
at?
do. So, Mitchell Trubisky is blank passing yards away from 10,000 yards. He'd be the quickest Bear to get to that mark in Bears history. How many yards does he need to get up to get to 10,000 yards, Scott? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
He needs 110 yards to get to that spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I thought you hadn't seen that stat, but I could. I mean, you're obviously you're a grinder, man. You get after it. There isn't a stat that gets by you every week, is there?
No, definitely not. So I just saw that recently. Actually, I watched, or I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but Bleacher Report is just a great source. It really throws all the Bears material you need to know at you on a daily basis. But also, it provides great commentary during Bears games, especially if we're struggling because the Bears writers are losing their minds on Twitter and it's just all in the same feed. So, yeah, 110 yards for the biscuit, as they call him. And that's kind of a crazy thing to hear, but it also shows me that we're not very good at drafting quarterbacks because obviously Jay Cutler's gotten past that mark as he holds most Bears records. But once again, if we go to that quarterback conversation, we could say that behind Jay Cutler, Trubisky is the next best quarterback we've watched as Bears fans in our lifetime. So it is a hard life for us.
It's hard to say that, isn't it?
Yeah, it almost doesn't seem possible. So okay.
What's your question?
Question for you. Um, Actually, I was looking this up the other day. I'm pretty sure I was just doing another deep dive into Bears history and stats. Bears have played on Christmas Day 2 times. Um, Name the team that we have played on Christmas Day.
We play the same team both times.
We did play the same team both times. We split, actually.
What year was the last time that we had played on Christmas? To give me a little context here.
I don't even know if I know the answer to that. I'm going to say 2012. Nah, that can't be right. It might have been 2011. Yeah, I think it was definitely 2011 because that was a down year.
Okay. So you're talking probably another AFC West year and your AFC side. It was not an AFC West team, correct? We can eliminate that right now.
We can eliminate that right now. We have now used your 50-50.
All right. I think I'm going to say Green Bay.
Yeah, it was the Packers.
Hmm.
So I can remember in 2005, again, there's that mind, 2005 was Kyle Orton's rookie year, and he was like 10-3 or 10-4. It was actually amazing. And then there was a game against Atlanta where at that game, it was a Sunday night, and Rex Grossman chants were going around the crowd at Soldier Field. He came onto the field, threw a bomb or something, and we scored. Ended up winning that game. But he started on December 25th against Brett Favre, and we ended up going into Lambeau and winning the division that day. That was the first game I can ever remember the Bears playing on Christmas. And then that year of 2011 or whatever it was, I think, was the year that Caleb Haney got benched for Josh McCown. McCown came in, played pretty well, but we ended up losing like 35-28 or something. He got a couple of late touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think he ran for one. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost that one though. So.
Wow. Feel like maybe we should have kept McNown all those, when we let him go. Remember we had him for a few years or a year or so. Wasn't he backing up Cutler?
Yeah, and he had that year where he was just amazing, and Cutler got hurt, and McCown was amazing. I remember I woke up because that was the year that we didn't end up making the playoffs.
Right.
And then the next thing they said was that we were going to sign Jay Cutler to a contract for like 6 more years. And I guess I'm 27 now, but I think that happened 6 years ago because I actually made a Facebook post and I said the Bears will not have a quarterback until I'm 27 years old because Jay Cutler will now be our quarterback till I'm 27. So, wow, here we are, just fighting the same fight.
It doesn't matter if you're 37 or 47. We still won't have a quarterback. Yeah. No, I mean, I love the way your mind works. You have a far better memory than I do. Yeah, like I said, you're a Britannica. Volume 85 with a homage to the 85 team. And yeah, no, that's some good trivia right there. What are the keys to the game you got going on? I'm going to be the transition guy today, you know?
Oh, shoot. Well, this is week 15, so we're taking on a team that wears purple. Still not really sure why you'd want to have purple as one of your colors if you played in the NFL, but by all means, if somebody has to have it, it might as well be our division rival. So, yeah, let's talk about our preview and the guys that we're really looking at. So, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago when we previewed this Bears Vikings matchup for that Monday nighter, and we already talked about it a little bit how disappointing it was. We know that Justin Jefferson destroyed us in that game. He had a big game, so he's definitely going to be one of the key players. Hopefully, Jalen Johnson can step up against him. I know that he has been injured a little bit. He laid a big hit on Deshaun Watson last week at the goal line. But we're looking at.
Go ahead. I'm going to look this injury report up. I thought I had it. Let me double check because I don't know if Jalen's going to be good enough.
I saw that he was questionable.
Is he?
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is definitely going to be a guy where if we can really stop him and force him into mistakes, that's going to help out a lot. But last time we played, he didn't really do a whole lot. In fact, we did exactly what I said. Khalil Mack picked him off. We had some good plays. But then he started figuring it out towards the fourth quarter, and he won his first ever game on Monday night, which is really, really disappointing. And this is also the first time he's beaten us. But I'm looking for big things out of Trubisky. And since he didn't play last time we played the Vikings, he's still undefeated against the Vikings in his career. I think that's 4-0, even though he got hurt 2 years ago. He got hurt last year against them the first game. And,
I think we still won that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Chase Daniels to the rescue.
Yeah, for sure. Straight out of Missouri, University of Missouri. But I'm looking for big things from David Montgomery once again. I think he is our guy. As we've been watching the tape never lies, they definitely like to say that is the identity of this football team, and I agree with that as well. From what I've seen from David Montgomery, he is the guy. He can do it. He can run it. He can make all the moves. But this defense really, though Khalil Mack is such an integral piece of it all, Akeem Hicks really runs this thing by being tough up front. And last time he held Dalvin Cook in check, and as soon as he got hurt, it was a different story. So I'm really looking for these players on both sides to step up for their teams. And if Kirk Cousins, Jefferson, and Cook play well, we're in trouble. And that is really how the Vikings have been successful lately. But in the same way, if Akeem Hicks plays well, then there's no run game. If our run game gets going, then Trubisky can make the plays he made last week. So what do you think about these guys, these key players for this week?
Yeah, looks like Eric Kendricks, the middle linebacker that they have, he's out. And same for Kyle Rudolph. So both of those guys are impactful, and I think that certainly at least if I'm just talking about Eric Kendricks, the guy stuffs the run. He's a 3-down linebacker. Guy that he's pretty good in coverage for a linebacker as well. So I'm hoping, with that being said, you like to think that tight end linebacker matchup is something you can exploit on our end, whether it be Graham or Montgomery. And a lot of it will be Graham on the outside, but in the inside, you can, if we're going to run that 12 personnel, we're going to have 2 tight ends out there, whatever the case may be, like we've seen a little bit more of. I do think that's an area to exploit. And I'm really hoping Montgomery continues to trend, but we got to remember, the Packers, not a great run stopping team. Same with the Lions, same with the Texans. Really, I think the Texans are last in the running category defensively. So as good as it's been and as much as it's helped Trubisky and our offense out, realistically, I mean, this is just a better front. This is a better front seven. And I think it's not going to be as easy as it has been the last couple of weeks. That's going to put more pressure on Trubisky, and it's also going to put more pressure on Bill Lazor and what Nagy wants to game plan and kind of attack this week. You're right, Akeem Hicks, when he went out in that injury previous meeting, huge. I believe we played him. Was it week 12 that we played him? Was it week 12?
I think
week 11.
We were 5-4 going into that game. Yeah, we were 5-4 because we played them. We lost. We were 5-5. We played against the Packers 5-6 after the bye week. Yeah, good job.
I mean, he's just a runs. He's just a blocking eater, man. He just eats blocks up. Wins against 2-on-1 double teams. He wins 1-on-1s. Something that's not really being discussed. It looks like Jalen Johnson's probably not going to play. So again,
that's not good.
And Buster Screen could be out too. So now you're down. You're second and third. So guys like Kindle Vidor, the rookie that we drafted, and then Duke Shelley. Those are kind of our next guys up, honestly. And again, it's a tough matchup because you're gonna either be with Thielen or you're gonna be Justin Jefferson. So what I would say is, why not try to help slide either Gibson or Eddie Jackson and just provide them some help, at least over the top. Really, you can't leave either one of those guys on an island at this point. Whereas Fuller and Johnson, you kind of can. So really, we're gonna have to kind of help facilitate them and help them out on that side, or whoever they're covering. We don't play a lot of man anyway, so it's going to be more zone. But
you're making me really nervous right now. I'm going to be honest with you because I
was not good. Vikings are licking their chops right now, saying we got pretty much a rookie and a second-year player, got limited amount of snaps. They're both undersized. They're both 5'9".
Yeah.
And so let's eat. Seen a lot is Kirk they love play action on second down. They love play action. So to counteract that, man, let's blitz. Let's try to get to him. Nickel blitz off the side. Doesn't have to be your traditional blitzing. I mean, we can go with where they stack the two middle linebackers in front. You alternate who's coming and who's going, much like what the Vikings do with Mike Zimmer. Excuse me. So blitzing more on second down. And obviously trying to get to him, but just helping those two young corners out, because I do think that that's a huge part of what we'll have to do defensively to slow down. What is one of the more dynamic duos, I would say, receiver wise in the league.
For sure. So we've kind of jumped into it, and we're just going to continue to build off it. So really, in the two photos I have on here, we have Jefferson just really carving us up, and right here we have Patterson. With his big run back for a touchdown.
I'll hype for you when he scored that touchdown, bro. I'm like, we got this.
I was losing my mind. I was like, finally, we scored in the third quarter. That doesn't happen. Which we scored a field goal last week in the third quarter, so it can happen. It can happen. But
yeah, I kind of had the feel. I know you remember when Devin Hester took the opening kick to the house, and it wasn't as intense of a moment, but it kind of had that feeling of just jump-starting a team. I mean, you saw the sideline when he ran it back. Pretty much the whole sideline's running with him on the sideline like little kids, man. They were juiced.
Yeah, for sure. So the only thing is that's not going to happen. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that's not going to happen, but if it does happen, then the Vikings need to fire their special teams coordinator like the next day, because how could you let a guy go the whole field on you 2 games in a row? So, but as far as the keys to this week, I'm looking at we got to score first. When we score first and get that confidence going, we play so much better on offense versus if we can't get anything in our first drive, it just becomes this constant question of, are we going to score? Like, who's going to do it? Is the defense just going to have to kind of prevent the Vikings from getting a bunch of points? Because otherwise, like last week, again, you score on your first play, and then all of a sudden you score again, and it's 14, and the defense helps out with a couple turnovers here and there, and so we got to score quickly. Obviously, we got to stop Cook. If you do that, then it really does get Cousins in a bad spot. again, last time we played, he started to look much better after Dalvin Cook started to really roll, and that was because Akeem Hicks got hurt. And lastly, we just need to force Cousins to make some turnovers. And the other thing I got super hyped about with the last game is when Khalil Mack made that interception. Oh, I was like, here we go. We got this one. We got an interception or a return for a touchdown. This is the kind of game that the Bears win. I still don't know how we lost it thinking back on that. But I think that kind of goes with the Vikings game plan of if they can get the ball to their wide receivers, Thielen and Jefferson, and that's especially now that we know that there's a bad matchup for us. If they're balanced, if they have the run and gun going, and if they don't give us anything easy on defense or a special teams play, which always makes things harder for the Bears. So yeah, what do you think? What are you thinking about this?
Well, what the difference is from the times we beat the Vikings and then times, and like, let's just say, for example, the last time we played them, first off, we've been more physical than them, even with Trubisky being out, even without having, with having less talent in the skill positions, just from the line versus line, the big man game, we've always been more physical than them. We were not more physical than them, at least when when Akeem Hicks went out last game, right? So we didn't have the physicality. Second part of that is our defense is on the field way too long. And in that Vikings game, if you can remember, man, they just wore us down. At the end of that game, they just wore us down. Kirk didn't really spread it, but he just kind of picked us apart. A couple first downs, a couple third down conversions. I believe there was a questionable hit to the quarterback or roughing the passer that hurt us in that down the stretch. But really, it's our offense wasn't moving the ball enough or just sustaining drives to keep our defense on the sideline to get a breather, man. They can't even get the oxygen mask on their face. They're back out there. So, and in 2018, even last year, our offense was able to move the ball and score. And then really our defense didn't have to play. Defense is just worn down. They wore us down, and I know that that's what they're going to want to do. They want to grind it out. They want to run it with Dalvin. They want to wear us down, and so not only that, but I would say keep featuring A-Rob, keep featuring Cole Kmet. We're obviously going to give David Montgomery touches and give him touches. Reward the man. Give him touches in the second half. Last week? Your boys at the tape never lies, right? I mean, they said Cordell Patterson touched the ball more than Montgomery did in the second half.
That's true.
Nagy had a 30-second drive, in the fourth quarter.
Gosh.
We're up in the fourth quarter by 20-something points, and we had a 30-second drive. So, again, some of it is we need to play a full 60-minute games on all three phases, not just defense, not just off. I mean, there won't be offense because we're not there yet, but just a full team effort in all 60 minutes. And, again, keep featuring. I'd also like to see us kind of run some more screens. I know we're missing Tariq Cohen, and that hurts us. David Montgomery can catch the ball. He can do things with his feet. He can get away from people. He's more than capable of handling the screen game. And you know what? Even if you want to bring Cordell Patterson and use him in the screen game, because ultimately you want to get him out in space. Why have we not used him on screens?
I don't know.
Why have we not used him? And even the jet sweeps, that guy that comes in motion, we really kind of only use Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
Why not use Cordell Patterson's talents in the jet sweep game, and then also sometimes in some screens? I still don't think Nagy's using him right, and I think again he's making it easier on defenses when you use a player incorrectly for the scheme and for their skill, their skill set.
So, that's what I keep noticing too. I think he's in my opinion, Cordell Patterson is in the backfield way too much, way more than he really needs to be. Because when he's back there, that we're probably going to run some sort of sweep or something where he's getting the ball.
Scratch right on the outside.
It's easy for the defense. Thoughts on this have been that when he was in New England or Minnesota, they figured out he's just not that smart, so he can only do like two things. One of those is run the ball. But I don't know that he's a better wide receiver than any of the other guys we have out there. I don't want him taking snaps from Mooney or Robinson.
No, and he's not. He's taking them from Ridley. He's taking them from Ridley, and he's taking them from even Sucker Punch Wims. So
yeah. So, which I don't know why he's still on the team, but anyway. So yeah, those are the keys. Those are what we're really looking for. Are you ready for my prediction?
I'm worried, but yes, I'm ready for it.
Well, I'm feeling good here. So for one, I'm nervous because although I guess we don't really have anything to be nervous about, we're just fans of this team. But this is kind of like the season right here. If which I felt like I said it after the Lions game or even maybe after the Packers game, but if we win this one, it's anything can happen. But if we lose this one, we're officially done. Like it's just over. And then all of a sudden, people start calling for Nagy's job again, thinking, "How can you start out 5-1 and miss the playoffs?" But I think that we're going to do enough things correctly in this one to get it done. I think Trubisky's going to play decently well. Having Hicks back will be nice in the run game. I am a little bit afraid with our secondary just getting torched by those receivers because regardless of how people feel about Kirk Cousins and his ability to get big wins, those receivers are good enough to take short passes into big gains. And that's kind of what I felt like happened in the last time we played them. There are a few like crossing patterns or just getting across the field and then breaking it for an extra 20 yards. And I'm thinking, how is this happening? So, but I'm taking the Bears in this one. What about you?
I mean, I think I'm going to speak for most of Bears Nation here and say that we just haven't been that consistent this year, and I don't feel comfortable, even in a game that I think we're very capable of winning. I just don't think that the coaching staff, that our players have been able to execute at a high level, much like we saw in 2018. Our defense is not what it used to be, and I think I'd feel better about the Bears' chances again if we were home. We played better at home, and I know that's a cliche thing to say, but again, you're on the turf. They have the advantage on the offensive side of the ball, especially out in the skill positions. And so I'm just worried about our secondary not hold. If we can't get to Kirk, I'm worried about our secondary just not holding up with as explosive as they are. Irv Smith will step up in Kyle Rudolph's place, and he can make plays in the passing game. I would say he's probably a better pass catcher than Kyle Rudolph at this point of his career. And so I'm just worried that Trubisky can't do enough. And we're really not going to have a lot of as much success as we have had lately running the ball. I'm going 28-24 Vikings, and part of me is hoping this only because I want to see. I want to see. I don't want to say I want to see Nagy get fired, but I want to see what a new regime can do if given a chance. So. I hate to say that, but this is an elimination game, and even though Mitch, we've done well in the past against them, I just don't see us being able to replicate the Houston game. I'm worried that we just don't. We don't have the team and the right scheme, and even though we have confidence, I do think it's a little bit of a false confidence that we beat a really bad Houston Texans team this year, the last week. So I'm going to go 28-24 Vikings. And again, we'll probably beat Jacksonville, and then I think we lose to the Lions, and I think you're probably
Packers?
looking at I'm not the Lions, the Packers. I'm sorry. We beat the Jaguars, and we lose. I almost said the Lions again. I want to play the Lions again. That's why, Scott. We're going to lose to the Packers, and what that puts us at, 6-8? It puts us at 7-9.
Yep, sounds about right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't see it. It's tough.
No, I mean, I think it could go either way. It's kind of a toss up, but if they've learned anything from the last few weeks and they can just kind of ride the ship on offense and continue to score points. I mean, we're averaging, gosh, I want to say 30 points a game or so in the last 3 weeks, and it's almost hard to say that considering how poorly this team was on offense. Really, dare I say it, before Trubisky became our starter again, they were starting to average, 17 points a game. And most of those points they got in games were at the end of the game when it was already over. Some of that would be true against the Packers in that Sunday night embarrassment. But like against the Titans, it was 24-3, and Foles got a couple easy touchdowns towards the end. And even in the Viking game, we scored 13 points, and 7 of that was on Cordero Patterson returning a kick. So hoping for a good week. But we gotta make a plug here for those listening out there. Got to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to bring good content each week, and just kind of grow this channel into whatever it could be. So
before we go, I've got to say something real quick. First off, I want to give a shout out to the production team for putting some lights up on the channel. That's kudos to them. I also, just prediction wise, I'm going to say the Bears get a defensive touchdown finally. I think it's been a while since we've gotten one. And then also, I'm just curious if you would be willing to make a wager about this game. Okay, Bears win, I do something. Vikings win. Not that I'm rooting for them. You do something. You made a comment about the color purple, and I'm wondering if maybe we can get, you go in your closet and you find every piece of purple clothing that you have, because we all have some. We all go to Easter. We all, obviously we go to church for Easter. We go to, and we some purple sometimes pops. So we kind of make some sort of social media bet where it's an all purple outfit, and we got to yell, "You like that?" Because that's a Kirk Cousins saying. And I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of the wager this week? We're gonna spice it up here.
I think that's a great idea. Okay. So what do I have to do it if the Vikings win?
The Vikings win. You're going to literally go in your closet and maybe even your wife's closet and get something purple. And you're going head to toe as much purple as you can put on your body. And you have to scream, "You like that?" Maybe throw a pass to somebody or chuck a football.
All right. Done.
Deal. Okay.
What are you going to do?
I mean, it could be the same for me. Or, I have my standards. I'm not wearing anything Packers. I just say that right now.
For sure.
But I'd be willing to do the purple bet as well, because I'm putting my eggs in Mike Zimmer's basket.
Okay. Deal.
Purple bet it is.
We'll just keep it simple. That way it's not confusing as to who has to do what. All right. Sounds good. I could even edit it and put it on the next video if it's a video. So.
Sounds good to me. That's what the plan is. So one of us is going to look like the Joker.
I might have to go out and even get like a Joker suit, just for.
I kind of wish we had snow, because I'd like to push the snow bed, but maybe we got time. We got a couple weeks.
I don't know if it's going to snow. I was actually thinking about that today.
It'd be nice now that I'm out of school.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Good snow day. So.
Got a little sled hill.
Yeah.
You got any good childhood memories sledding? Please tell me you do. Give me a good sledding story back in the day. Big wipeout?
Okay, so actually it's a really good one. It happened in Fawcett, Missouri. My grandparents lived in Fawcett, and my aunt and uncle still live there. But one time it was a great snow, and we were all hanging out, and they had this really steep hill. For some reason, we didn't have a sled that could fit my cousin, my sister, my dad, and my brother and I all on it. So we got in a inflatable bed, like a blow-up mattress, and we tried to all be on that together. And so we couldn't really get it to glide. So we used, I want to say, like Pam or some kind of spray, almost Christmas Vacation-like.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that worked really well. And we flipped it upside down so that there was like a slicker side. Yeah. And we used that Pam, and we went flying down the hill. And all of a sudden, when we got done, we heard this little kid crying, and my brother got stuck under the snow between all of us. There were like 6 or 7 of us on this thing. It was awesome. What about you?
Well, growing up in Wisconsin, I got plenty. We used to have like this. Oh shoot, probably the metrics are gonna be off here, but I'm gonna say like 100. Yeah, probably like a 200-foot hill. We used to call it the hill. Real original. We'd go snowboards off of it, get ramps. I mean, you're talking like 5-6 foot ramps. Kids would be breaking their arms and stuff. It was awesome. But I told you, I don't remember the Super Bowl number, but it was Brett Favre's Super Bowl when he won it against the Patriots. 96. First year that I moved to Wisconsin, and somebody bet me that my tongue would not stick to the Cloudview Court street sign, and it did. And I can just remember like when my tongue stuck, I was like, I was surprised that it worked. and I tried to have somebody pry my head off, back. Tore up the tongue. Not only did the Packers win a Super Bowl that day, but I tore off like 4 layers of the top of my tongue, and probably all taste buds are gone ever since.
Oh my gosh.
So not a good memory. I do have plenty, but for the most part, yeah. That was a rough night. But yeah, a lot of the time it was go shovel 9 feet of snow out in the driveway, and then we get after it, man. We get after it.
Sounds
A
like
lot of tackle football, though. A lot of tackle football, and in a foot of snow and boots, and you're basically running like the fridge.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for the extended content this week, some personal stories, and come back next week to check out this Vikings video, win or lose, because one of us is going to lose. And yeah, turn up, bear down. Don't forget to bear down. Have a great day. Bye.